Yo, what's up guys? It's Brian and Jim from DrinkABeerandPlayAGame. Today we're going to be checking out Roundball 2-on-2 Challenge for the NES.
Released in 1992, this was developed by Park Place Productions. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, who the hell are they? It turns out they were a very successful computer games producing company back in the early 90s. They developed John Madden Football on the Genesis. Yes, that Madden, the Madden, the one that started it all. With that in mind, you might have some high hopes for this one. Let's take a look and see if it lives up.
Oh boy, graphics. Well, this is one of the last basketball games for the NES, and take a look at it. It's a little bit of an eyesore. That yellow-orangey court that never changes, the fans, which are some reason all monochromed, and I don't know why they went with that filter or what the fuck was going on, and your players, who are all basically the same model except for different skin tones and different uniforms. I'm not really sure why they went with this model, but hey, we don't hate too much. While the graphics didn't do anything to impress us, they weren't exactly the worst we'd ever seen, and we actually gave credit for the animations of the players running. They look less robotic and slightly more organic, and some of the dunking animations were pretty nice as well. So, as you see, we both gave it a 5. It's not terrible, but it's just so damn middle of the road it's not even funny. I'm gonna add 2 beers just for the fucking lack of coloring.
Alright, the sound. Well, like anything else, the opening music, it's okay. It's nothing too special, but it gets the job done. The menu music is weird. It has a really kind of just off-putting sound to it, and it's one of the longest menu tracks we've ever heard in a game. And not only that, it's a lot longer than the actual in-game track. So, I don't know what the hell they were thinking there. I guess they expected everyone to spend their time in the menus. Whatever. Sound effects, they're middle of the road. It's nothing special. It's a game called Roundball, and we don't get Roundball rocked by John Tesh? What the hell? And don't tell me it didn't come out yet, I know that. Anyway,
it didn't come out yet!
We both gave it 6s. It's a mixed bag, but it's still on the acceptable side. And it's above average. And I'm gonna give it 2 beers for the lack of John Tesh. Oh yeah.
Jimmy didn't come out yet!
Shut up!
Alright, so the control is an interesting situation for Jim and I, because it's just plain-ass basketball. There's nothing special. The biggest reason we couldn't give this game more points is, at the beginning of the game, you pick your character and they have selected stats, and you think that actually means something. Turns out it means nothing, because Jim and I, we both picked guys who had really high points for 3-pointers, and I hit it a lot more than Jim. Now that's just because I'm more naturally gifted than Jim.
Gifted! Oh, just you wait. Just you fucking wait.
But there shouldn't have been this much of a delta between our scores when shooting 3s. It just felt like more of a coin flip than an actual stat in-game. So, with that being said, it was still good enough for me and Jim to have fun, but it wasn't anything amazing. We both gave it 6s, and I'm just gonna add 2 more beers just for Jim bitchin'!
Alright, the gameplay. Alright, I just want to get something out of the way here. This menu screen, besides the fucking music, just looks weird. It looks like a DOS game. You get a ton of menu options, which is fine. It's about the norm at this point, because every game at this point had a shitload of menu options. Now, all the characters have different stats, and you can try and set up a team based on the stats. So, trying to be a dick, I tried to make my team very 3-point heavy. And guess what? I made 5 3-pointers combined throughout the entire fucking game. So stats in this game mean absolutely nothing. Don't even bother, pick 2 random assholes and go nuts. You get exhibition games and you get a tournament mode. You don't really get a full-on season mode, but honestly, how can you with a game like this? So again, for what it is, we found to be above average and we gave it 6s. You know what? I'll add another 2 beers just for the stats meaning jack shit.
The originality. Like we mentioned earlier, this was one of the last games come out on the NES, and surprise, surprise, didn't really offer that much new. Remember a little game called Hoops?
That's my bit!
Yeah, well, it took that basic idea of 2-on-2, or 1-on-1, whatever you want to call, and just put it on a court. Didn't offer anything new, didn't even have the same little personality that game had. So, at the end of the day, other than the crazy menu and maybe some of the in-depth stats you see at the beginning for each player, there's nothing new here. Me and Jim, we both gave it 3s. I'm gonna add, 3. That sounds like a good number. I'm gonna add 3 more beers just for that.
Replayability. Alright, remember what I said before about the stats not meaning shit? Alright, I'm probably being a butthurt Betty again. But there are a ton of characters in this game. So, really, if you want to put the time in there to figure out what combination of guys works best, you have a lot of work ahead of you. It'll definitely add some gameplay and time to the game. Like I said, you only have exhibition games, and you have tournaments. Not a lot there. But just the multitude of, combinations you can get, and the fact that it's a fun enough game to play with a buddy, we both gave it 8s. There's a good amount of replayability here. And I'll just add 1 beer. Why the hell not?
Overall, I want the record to show one thing. Even though I beat Jim in this game at an embarrassing 1 point with only seconds left with this sweet 3... Shut up! He doesn't want to admit it, but what can I say? I had a Quinn shooting, and they never miss. Right, Jim?
I have no comment on this. None!
Even though I won and had a little more fun, I still scored this the same as Jim. This is a good game, and you can have a lot of fun with it, but it's nothing earth-shattering, and it's nothing that's going to make you say, oh man, this is probably the best NES basketball game. We already know which one is. Click here for that video. Anyway, here's our score. We both gave it a 6. It's above average, but not by much. And as you can see, we tallied up all the scores. It only came out to a 5.7. Now, personal feelings aside, I can see how this rounded out to this. Really, the originality in this game is just lacking. But we did have a lot of fun with this, so this is actually probably a score I would say that doesn't represent our true feelings for this game. Either way, it's a solid basketball game, and one that if you can find cheap enough, we'd say, go pick it up. And as far as the beer pairing is concerned, we're going to go with the Saranac Long John Lager. That's a really solid winter beer that, it gets the job done. It's not the strongest, it's definitely not the most flavorful, but it's just an all-around solid beer. Just like this is an all-around solid basketball game. Put these two together, and you might have an all-around solid night. Get it, Jim? See what I did there?
Yes, I get it. Solid.
Jim's still butthurt over that loss. As always, guys, thanks for checking out this video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure you give us a thumbs up, leave some comments, or better yet, why not subscribe? Till next time, guys, cheers.